I live in an old house, originally built in 1919, but has had 2 additions built on. Just to give context, main level, living room, kitchen, bathroom, office, and bedroom, with a laundry room in the basement. The office used to be a bedroom, but we put stairs into the attic in that room and built a large bedroom with slanted ceilings in the attic. The area that is the attic bedroom and the living room are the original 1919 portion of the house. I have always had a weird vibe in the house. My husband and I bought it in spring of 2006, did a lot of renovation, and moved in that fall. Attic bedroom was started in 2009 and finished in 2012. The house has always made noises, but old houses do. So, not too strange. But recently I have heard what sounds like running or falling down sounds coming from the attic room. I am a night owl and stay up till 2 or 3 a.m. on most weekends. Last Saturday, I was in my living room reading, and I heard a crashing noise from my bedroom. I ran up the stairs, and my husband was sound asleep in bed. I looked around, went back downstairs, checked my kids in their room, and both were asleep. I sat down and started reading again. About 20 minutes later, it sounded like someone jumped 3 times in the attic room, directly above me. I ran up again, and same thing. Everyone's asleep. No one had moved. After this, I went back to the living room, grabbed my phone, and just went to bed. I didn't have any scared feelings, just felt curious. I casually mentioned it to my husband Sunday morning, and one of my daughters heard me. We all commented that it was strange. Today my daughter told me that she heard it this morning as she was getting ready for school. I believe it is a ghost or spirit. My husband is not a believer. However, there is no plumbing or ducting ran to the attic. We have no heat ran up there, so he is having a hard time trying to explain what it could be. This happened about 6 or 7 years ago. I'm an only child, and I have 2 best friends who are sisters that lived a few houses down the street from me. I live in a city, so it was not even a 5-minute walk to their place. We went to 2 different schools that were right next to each other, so we would always walk home together after school and then pass ways, change, then meet up again to hang out. Every day after school, my parents would be at work, so I would always be home alone. It is also important to note that this happened during a period where we had no pets. My cats had just died, and we hadn't gotten any new pets yet. I walked down to my friend's house after stopping at home to see what they wanted to do. The one sister didn't feel like hanging out, but the other, let's call her Sam, did. So we decided to go to my place. We walked down there and I realized I left my keys inside the house. I did this way too many times. So basically we were locked out. We jokingly knocked on my front door because we were 12 and silly. We knocked 3 times. A few seconds passed while we determined what to do. Then suddenly we heard 3 distinct knocks on my front door. From inside. It was impossible to mistake them as something else. They were loud, clear, and distinct. There were no pets, so it wasn't a cat jumping, and no one was home. We sprinted to my front gate, then went back to the door and tested it. We knocked. Knock, knock, knock. A few seconds pass and it happens again. Knock, knock, knock. My friend was standing behind me, so it wasn't her tapping on the door to mess with me. We did it again. 1 knock, and immediately a loud knock was returned. We ran down to their house, and I didn't go home until my dad got home from work. So, I was on vacation last year. I was at my grandparents' house, which is in a smaller village, with about 8 people that live in it. My room has a window where I can see the entire garden, including our garage and 3 other smaller garages for wood, gardening tools, and one that is for nothing. So it was getting late, and as always, I went to bed later than my grandparents. It was about 11 p.m. when I heard something of a scratch noise. I first thought it was nothing, but it got a little louder, so I checked where it came from. Bad idea. It came from outside, which means it must have been a loud and strong noise because our windows are about 3 to 4 centimeters thick. I did not see anything, but when I turned out the lights and my eyes eventually saw a little better in the dark, I saw from my window that the door to the garage for tools was wide open. That couldn't happen without a force since we use locks, but I didn't worry about it a lot because there were 2 wasp nests inside that were very aggressive. I checked the next day if everything was still there, and yes, it was, except for the wasps. The nests looked like they were ripped off. When I asked my grandparents about it, they couldn't explain it either. So I installed the camera. The next day, the camera was gone, and the footage that it sent to my laptop I took with me just broke at about 11 p.m. The next few nights were sleepless for me, so I looked if anything happened, but it didn't. We don't have bears or wolves here, and if we had some, they would have been hunted down long ago. I can remember that I saw some scratches, but they could have been from something else than an animal, since it is an old tool garage. Now, I was there last weekend and the same thing happened. Scratch noises and the open door. This time, I went out with my grandparents. There was nothing but dead wasps and a bit of blood on the floor. This is really terrifying. So I saw this about 4 years ago at work and it creeped me the fuck out. I work for a digital surveillance company that runs the eye in the sky for thousands of restaurants, bars, and gas stations across the US. From time to time, we get calls for investigations to look into robberies, theft, etc. So one day, we get a call from a popular fast food chain located in the heart of Detroit. They say an employee OD'd by the dumpster and they needed us to get some answers on the situation. First, basically what happened and how long was he there. The next question is where it starts to get weird. See, the dumpster had a brick wall around it. It had 2 entrances to the dumpster. A gate you had to pass when you walked out a back door and the big gates where the garbage truck had access to the dumpster to empty it out. They claimed those big gates were always open, and the small gate by the back door was locked from the inside. Nobody ever used the small gate. The weird thing was when the body was found, an employee walked out. That gate that was never open was indeed open, and the body was sitting there on full display. So their next question was, who the fuck opened that gate? So we downloaded the footage. One night, the employee goes outside, throws out the trash, and you can kinda see him through the locked gate that was never open. It was see-through, but very difficult to see through. The way the camera was angled, you could kinda see over the top also. He injects himself, slumps over, and falls right behind the dumpster. He was out there for 2.5 days. No employees have ever come to look for him. It's pouring rain both days. For 2 days, employees come and go, taking out the trash and not seeing him. Then, on the 3rd day, in the morning sunshine, clear as a fucking day, the gate just slowly opens by itself. Nobody comes, nobody goes. The gate just fucking opens by itself, and the body is sitting there in the same position it was 2.5 days earlier. I literally felt chills down my spine. To this day, I can't explain without thinking it was paranormal. Anyway, a couple hours later, an employee walks out with a trash bag, sees the body, freaks out, and calls the police. I didn't write it, but we basically had to write a report on how a gate apparently opened itself. Hi there, thank you for watching. If you wish to see more videos like this, be sure to click on the playlist link down in the description. If you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. If you'd like to get in contact with me and send me your own stories, there's a link to my Discord and email in the description. See you next time.